So if you want to take a seat and let yourself relax back into the chair, or if you would rather sit down, or rather, lie down, you're welcome to find any comfortable position that gives your body the opportunity to let go and release. So finding a space where you don't have to hold anything up, nothing has to engage or grip. So you can begin to let a softening happen in your body from your head to your toes. So you may even want to begin at the crown of your head and begin a gentle scan down through your body, from the crown down over the face, noticing the muscles around the eyes, allowing them to relax, noticing the muscles of the cheeks and feeling them soften, bringing awareness to your jaw and feeling the lower jaw relax away from the top teeth. Feel that unhinging almost as you soften through the jaw, through the side of your temples, and down the sides of your neck. Feel the shoulders soften and melt tension out of the neck and the back. Feeling the arms become heavy, noticing wherever they rest on your body. Noticing the softness down the spine into the low back, softening any muscles around the abdomen. Feeling your hips sink a little deeper into whatever's supporting your body. Following that energy down the legs, all the way into the feet. Feeling into your body. And changing the focus of the mind from whatever conversation we might have been having, whatever might have come before this, and even keeping the mind from jumping too far ahead. Sometimes the mind starts to wonder about what's coming next. So we drop into this practice of presence to keep the mind in the here and now, and to practice a deeper awareness of our own vessel, of our body, of our own energy. And sometimes we can move about the day. It's pretty much all in the mind space. We're not always aware of our breath. We're not always aware of the subtle nuances in the body. So this opportunity to slow down and to tune in and gives us this opportunity to be in deeper connection with ourselves, with our bodies. And today we're going to explore even different forms of breath to help move energy in the body, and to help the body's natural purification process. And if there is any stagnant or stuck energy, this breath will help to move that through the body. For the next few moments, I invite you to be in this practice of being. We spend a lot of time doing one task to the other as we move through our day. But this moment gives us the opportunity to just be. So we don't feel like we have to accomplish anything. We just simply notice what is. And we do this by connecting to our own vessel, our own body, and seeing what we can tune into, what we can notice. So as we let the mind scan from the head to the toes, and from the toes back up to the head, we can observe the points of the body that feel at ease. We can observe the parts of the body that feel grounded, relaxed. And in that awareness, we might also notice parts that feel a little stiff, or a little rigidity, or perhaps even a little tenderness. And we can spend a little time focusing on these different parts of the body, sending our breath there, keeping our focused attention there for a few moments. And as we do that, we can notice what shifts or what stays the same. So, as an example, if you are feeling a little bit of stiffness in your neck, and you started to bring your mind's eye to that part of your neck and felt into the senses, into the neck space, and just allowed your breath and your mind's awareness to be there for a few moments. Notice if you feel any of that tension dissipate. You can start to feel a softening or a melting away. And if it moves or it shifts, guiding you to a different part of your body, let your mind follow that. So you might then start to notice your arms could relax a little deeper. Your back could soften a little more. And as you're noticing those parts that do feel at ease, that feel grounded, that feel at peace, you can invite that to move throughout the vessel, spreading that easeful energy from head to toe. As you begin to take notice of your breath, now that you've had a few moments to be present with your body, to assess what's here for you today, you start to feel into your lungs and the space around the torso. From the lowest part of the belly into the hip points, all the way up through the neck and shoulders. Taking in the most expansive inhales that you can, and pouring out the most complete exhales. And just noticing what happens in your body and in your mind as you connect these two together. As you bring the focus of the mind to the rhythm of the breath, and you begin to take control of it, deepening it, slowing it down, feeling into that expansive, stretching energy of the inhale, and the relaxing release of the exhale. And as you're breathing and noticing the breath, continue to keep your awareness on your whole vessel. See what pings your attention. See what you notice. Deep breaths in and out, feeling into this oceanic, wave-like quality of your breath. Stay present with your body. Offer your body this love and tender care by holding this presence, holding this awareness of yourself. And as we start to feel into the physicality of the muscles, the joints, the physical body, we also can sense into the energetic and emotional body. As these things play a role, they all connect together. So if the mind has been very stressed, the body might have places where it's feeling that and responding to that. If there's been a lot of emotional energy stirring, that might have an effect on the physical body as well. Just taking all of that in, taking all of that into consideration as you're tuning into yourself today. And it's a reminder that these inquiries are not judgments of ourselves or to be deemed as right or wrong, good or bad. It's simply noticing what we have here and now present, what we're carrying, what we're navigating, what we're working through. And it's allowing everything to have a space, the ease, and noticing the tension and allowing them both to be present and seeing what shifts in this space, what might change, what might move as we guide deeper awareness into ourselves. So give yourself the next few breaths. Just see what gets your attention and not something from the mind space. If the mind starts to distract, take a pause, Let that thought pass by like a cloud passing through the sky. Drop back into your body, into your breath. And notice the physical vessel. Notice the energy. And try to remain in the space of simply observing. If you catch the mind wanting to categorize or judge, just lovingly, gently, gracefully remind your mind that that is not the time for that now. That in this moment, simply noticing, simply being, deepening the breath. And sometimes this awareness, this inquiry can feel uncomfortable. Sometimes we're not used to this level of awareness and presence with ourselves. We have so many other distractions in the world and in our lives that can keep our minds in so many different places. So be gentle with yourself if it feels a little bit uncomfortable at first to be with yourself in this way. Welcome, Hannah. We're just beginning with our meditation, so hop in whenever you're ready. A few more breaths here of loving awareness. And then take a moment in your own mind, in your own way, to thank yourself, thank your body for this time of presence, for this opportunity to simply be with yourself. Then I invite you to take your palms and place your hands right at the center of your belly. Start to feel where your ribs connect. Start to feel into the sternum. You go a little lower, starting to feel where that soft part is between where the ribs connect, below the sternum, into the diaphragm. And then start to compress into that space gently, above the navel, below the sternum. In the yoga tradition, we call this place in the body the solar plexus, or the third chakra, this power center in our bodies. We're going to be playing with a little bit of breath work today, utilizing a technique called the breath of fire. And this breath is a pumping of the diaphragm, of the abdominal muscles, to force the exhale out and allow the inhale to just happen on its own. It's a beautiful, purifying breath. It can get the energy stirring in the body. It can enliven and awaken the cells in the body. It also is a way to release out anything that the body wants to detoxify or purify. It's a powerful, powerful breath. So this is something we're going to play with. And if you're new to this breath, I would invite you to just start really gently and really softly, as it is a pumping of the belly, pumping of the abdomen. So you're going to be breathing in and out through your nose and only through the nose. And if you want, you can place your hands on your lower part of where the ribs connect, that lower part of the diaphragm above the navel. So you can start to feel the gentle movement there. So this can be done whether you're sitting or lying down. It's a pumping of this part of the navel. So I'm going to place the camera a little lower so you can see here. This part is where you're going to be pumping in. So it is a little bit of a forceful breath.
Hannah, Maddie's expecting a boy, and so this will be a shared experience for her.
By the way, Maddie, this breath, thank you for that reminder, Phyllis. This breath is not a good breath to do if you are pregnant. So for you, Maddie, You're not going to want to join us for this part. It's a really forceful pumping of a breath. So I'm glad she said that, because I wanted to remind you guys, don't join us for this one, but you can just take deep breath in and out. You won't want to do the pumping.
Okay, perfect.
As you're exhaling, you can still be connecting your mind to the breath and visualizing that the exhales are releasing, and you can release your exhales out of your mouth if you want. Feeling into that space of like letting go of whatever is the body's ready to release. For anyone else who is not pregnant, we'll be working with this pumping. So first, we're just going to play with a little practice of that. So if you placed your fingers right in that soft part, you can kind of feel how you can press in and out a little bit there, and just kind of feel into that. And then as we breathe out through the nose, it's going to be a forceful breath out through the nostrils. And the best way that someone has described it to me that made sense was as if you had a little fly on your top lip and you're trying to shoo that fly off with your nose. So the mouth stays closed and it's just a pumping through the nose. The breath in happens automatically, so you don't have to really worry about the inhale. The inhale happens on its own as you're pumping out the exhale. So think about that abdominal muscle pulling in and up. It's like pulling in and up to push the breath out through the nose. You can kind of see my hands are kind of pushing in and out. You can kind of feel that when you practice it as you push. You could imagine right here in the center of your belly, this part of the abdomen where the solar plexus is, that you have this little fire, this little flame that's starting to build. And this pumping of the breath is like stoking that fire. So you're trying to press in that air. Does that make sense? Kind of pushing. And the inhale, in-breath, just naturally happens on its own. So you can start to go for a few rounds. But we're going to start a practice together. So now that you kind of feel into that a little bit, you can keep your hands there. Exhale everything out. Take a slow in-breath. And then begin the pumping. And then pause. Let it go. Take a normal breath in, normal breath out. You might feel a little bit of a buzzy feeling because it is a lot of forcing of the breath out. It's pressing out that oxygen a little more forcefully. So just notice how you feel in your body and your mind, if there's any shift that you notice. And we're going to do another round. So you can keep hands there or not. It's up to you. But take a slow breath in and begin pumping out. Let it go. Take a breath, deep breath in, deep breath out, relax the shoulders, just notice how you feel. And we're going to go one more round. We're going to try and go a little bit longer with this last round. So just go at your own pace. It doesn't have to be at the same rate as mine. It could be much slower. You could be just pushing slower breaths out. Take it at your own pace. We'll empty all the breath out. And then breathe in deep. And pump it out. And go a few more seconds if you can. And then let it go. Relax your palms. Take a moment, take a deep breath. Just notice how you feel in your body. This breath can be really powerful if you have something that you're feeling that's been sort of moving through your body, through your mind, that you just need to have a clearing release, you can utilize this breath. If you feel a little lethargic and kind of colder and a little bit more in that slower pace and you want to enliven your body a little bit, you can practice this breath. It's really a beautiful breath for waking up the insides and waking up the body. So it's a beautiful morning practice, or if you're getting ready to do something active, you just want to enliven your cells and wake up the body. It's a really beautiful breath for that, as well as helping to purify and push energy through the body and release out anything that the body is ready to detoxify. So we'll play with that breath in a little again in a little bit, but we're going to shift into some movement that will also incorporate aligning the breath to our movement. So for this, I would suggest finding a little bit of space where you've got about arm's distance around your whole body and where you can stand comfortably. So finding a space to do that. You'll want to have your arms be able to be by your sides. And the most important part of this will be to be really soft in your legs. So you want to take a little soft bend to the knees so that your tailbone and your hips are dropping towards the floor. The best way I like to describe it is like you're standing up, but then sitting back on a giant beach ball. So you can imagine you've got this giant squishy or medicine ball behind you. And you're just kind of sitting on it. So there is a soft bend to the knees. There's ability to be a little bouncy in the knees. You kind of feel that. Relax the arms a bit here. And then relax the arms by your sides as you're sitting into this beach ball. And this practice is safe for anyone and everyone to do. It's very simple and very gentle. We're just going to begin to align our breath to the movement of our body. So with your palms, just sort of resting softly on your thighs. As you're sitting back into the beach ball, with your in-breath, you're going to have your wrists very soft. So your fingers just kind of hang towards the floor as you lift from the wrists to about the height of your shoulders. And then imagine your palms are floating up and over a waterfall and then floating back down. And as they come towards your hips, you straighten out the legs, push the arms back a little bit. Then the knees start to bend as the arms float up to about the shoulders. Over the waterfall, exhale and press it back like you're trying to pull your thumbs towards each other behind you. And then the inhale begins again. And the exhale floating down. So we can feel this powerful energy rising up from the feet to the heart. And then the exhale, soft. Breathing in, feel that energy come up. Exhale, release it down. We're going to go with this a few more times so you can find your own breath rhythm. Knees bending a little on the lift, straightening on the release. Pressing the hands behind. Deep breaths in. Deep releasing breaths out, squeezing the abdomen. So that point where we felt the pumping before, that's going to expand with the inhale and squeeze in and up with the exhale. Let's do that one more time. Breathe it in and release it out. A little bit of a change on this next one. The hands are going to hold in front of the abdomen, in front of the hip creases. So right about where your hip creases are, you're going to imagine you're holding a ball of energy. If you look down between your fingers, there's probably about maybe 2 fist shape between your fingers. So you're holding this ball here, right at the center of the belly. And then a little bend to the knees. So sitting back onto that medicine ball. With the inhale, the palms start to stretch up as the legs lengthen to the heart. And then the palms turn and push away and you sit the hips way back. And then we gather this energy up like we're reshaping that ball to pull it back to the heart. Legs straighten. Exhale, as you press down, you sit back into the medicine ball. So we sit up, we breathe in and lengthen the legs. We push the chest, or push out from the chest rather, as the hips go back. Gather that energy up, pulling it back to the heart as the legs lengthen. And exhale, sit low as the hands press down. Beautiful. Let's keep that flowing. Inhale, breathe it up. Lengthen the legs. Exhale, send that loving energy out from your heart. Gather it up, even more multiplied, to replenish your heart and give it back to the earth. So we feel this infinite love rising up through the body, through to the heart. We share it, we give it out to the world. We gather it up, even more multiplied, to come back into our heart and return that love back to the earth. Let's do that one more time. Breathe it in. Press it out. Gather it up. And return it back down. Now from there, you can just straighten the legs and give yourself a little gentle sway of your arms, your hips. Just release that a little bit. You can just let the hands sort of flop near the sides of the hips, the low back. And then start to bring the hands up a little bit more, tapping the shoulders and the low back. As you just give yourself a little gentle love tap. A little twist through the spine. And then coming back through center, just give your arms a little shake out. Kind of wiggle the shoulders a little bit. Wiggle the head and neck, releasing any stagnant energy there. And then come to stand still for a moment. Close down your eyes here if you can, and bring awareness down into your feet. Feel your toes against the floor and see if you can pick up your toes and wiggle them around a little bit. And as you pick up your toes and wiggle them around, notice how the pads of your feet keep you balanced. The pads under your toes and under your heels. And then feel the sensation of your inner arches lifting up as you find the balance between both your feet. So you have equal weight from right to left, from front to back. And then let your arms relax at your sides and gently blink the eyes back open. With your in-breath, you're going to start to stretch one arm towards the sky as the other arm reaches behind you. And then as you come through center, you can straighten the legs. And as you stretch the legs, you can take a little bend. So you'll find a rhythm with your body where you're kind of bending the knees as you're switching the flow of the arms. So there's one arm lifting when the other arm is stretching. And that point where they're switching, you can have a soft little bouncy bend in your knees. It doesn't have to be a big bend. It can be really soft, but you're finding this rhythm, and it can be really slow. It can be a really slow motion movement. You're aligning it with your breath, or you can keep those breaths flowing really long, but start to increase the movement a little bit. You want to wake up the shoulders and the side body a little deeper, start to move maybe a little quicker. But if it starts to become tender or sensitive in any part of the shoulders or arms or the back, slow it down a little. Take it through your range of motion at your pace. So a couple more rounds, feeling out the evenness from one side to the other. And then the next time one arm is up, just pause. Lift one arm, keep one arm down. Lengthen through the legs and slide the hand that's by your thigh further down the leg as you reach the top arm up and over, finding a side bend. And then come up through center and side bend. And we're going to take this really slow, side to side. So you might inhale as you're switching and exhale to find the bend, keeping your chest and your hips facing forward. So really working all along the side body. Feeling the stretch from the side of the foot all the way through the fingertips. Awakening up the side of the ribs. And strengthening through the center, through the solar plexus, some side bend. Feel the energy there in the core. Finishing up one more to each side. Make sure you feel even and balanced there in that stretch. And then come back through center and relax the arms down. Take the feet this time a little bit wider, maybe even wider than your hips, and turn the toes out slightly so that when you sit onto the beach ball, you can sit back just a little bit lower. We're going to take this towards the floor. So if you're sensitive in your low back or in your hips, you might want to just go soft and gentle, maybe down to about the knee level. If it feels okay for your hips and your back to go deeper into the squat, you want to keep your chest and your spine long. So as your hands are resting in front of your belly and you go to reach down, you can keep the spine long. So the hips press back. Imagine you're scooping up that ball of energy from the floor near your feet and then lifting it up through your body, all the way up past the heart, above the crown of your head. So the legs straighten out, and then the exhale, the arms are going to slowly come back down. So maybe you bend the knees and get a little lower and lift it all the way up. Again, take it at your own range of motion. So it might be just a little soft bend of the knees. Maybe the hands just gather in front of the thighs and don't go lower. So you decide as you're lifting up and releasing out. So feel this moving through the channel of your body as you're coming up through the legs, through the center, through the core, over the crown, above the head, and the exhale floating back down, clearing your whole space. So if we think about our energy field emanating out from our body, it's about an arm's distance out in all directions. This electric magnetic field of our hearts, of our energy body. So now in this slow movement, you can imagine you're clearing your energy body of anything that's not serving you, anything that might be stuck or stagnant. You feel like you're just clearing that out with the movements of your breath, the movements of the body, releasing. So now we'll do that a couple more times, really allowing that energetic purifying, releasing, noticing how the legs feel, how the arms feel. One more time all the way through. And release. Arms by the sides. Legs can come back to straight. And again, maybe just a little soft movement of the hips side to side, a little twist to reset. Now that we've had the space to move the energy up from the earth and clear out the space, now I invite you to feel into what you want to bring in, what you want to invite into your body, into your energy space. So if you're feeling like you need a little extra tenderness today, or a little bit more care for yourself, a little more peace or patience, maybe you just need to refuel your love in the heart space throughout your whole vessel, whatever that might be for you today. Take a moment to let the arms relax, to stand strong in your body, close down the eyes. Just feel into what you might need today, energetically or even physically. This will be unique for each of us as we feel into what we want to invite in. What we want to invite in energetically, even spiritually. So once you feel into that, we're going to shift the flow of our movement. Palms are going to open out wide and be hanging by the side body. palms can even face forward. We start with that sit back into the beach ball. Really allow yourself to sit back. And then with your inhale, arms stretch out and up as the legs straighten. Palms come overhead and slowly press that energy down through the vessel. So you're surrounding yourself with it. Feel your field pulling all of that in and releasing down through the body. So you can almost energetically imagine that you're showering yourself in this energy, pulling it through all the centers of energy centers in the body, moving it throughout your whole energy field. So strengthening whatever that is that you are needing today. Fill yourself, replenish. Maybe something that you need to care for your vessel, your mind, your body, your spirit. Keep moving with that. Just finding a gentle meditative flow with the movement. One more breath. One more flow. And let the legs come back to straight. Step the feet a little closer together. And then take the arms, wrap them around the body as tightly as you can. Give yourself a deep squeeze and hug of love and appreciation. Hugging into the heart space, let your chin melt towards your chest. Feel a deep breath expand your back body. And then notice the arm you have on top. Just switch that. Bring the opposite arm on top. Give yourself a deep squeeze, big hug. Chin can even melt into the chest. Take a moment to feel into this love and appreciation you have for your vessel, for yourself. And this gratitude for the time you've set aside for you today. Let that release and just let the arms swing by your sides softly, or they can go a little bit more rapid with the movement. So you might slowly just lift and lower, or you can go a little bit more vigorous with that movement. It's up to you. And it might feel good to even let the breath go out through the mouth a few times here. When you feel complete with that, just let the arms release, swing by the sides, soften. And from here, you can bring it back into a space of calm meditation. So you may want to come back to the ground. You may want to return to a seat. You can lay down or be seated. See what feels best in your body. And then take a moment to notice your vessel now. Notice how it feels to inhabit your body now. You might notice a change in your heart rate. There might be more warmth or heat in the body. You might feel different tingles, different buzzes happening. Notice how it feels to breathe your vessel. Just taking some slower, deeper breaths as you let yourself settle, come back into this grounded place. Noticing your breath and your body. And noticing if anything has shifted since we began. And then again, bringing the palms to the center of the belly, below the sternum, above the navel, feeling into that soft space of the solar plexus. Bringing the mind's eye into the visualization of the internal flame there at the solar plexus, this power center in our body, this space to stoke our own internal fire. for what we're passionate about, for the things that we love, and also just for the health and well-being of our own vessel, of our own body, of our own mind. We're going to practice 2 more rounds of the breath of fire that we practiced at the beginning, with the gentle pumping of the breath. So with the nose being the only part taking in and out the breath. So the lips stay closed. The inhale comes in through the nose, and with the pumping exhale. Feel the in and out pump of that part of the abdomen, pressing out the breath through the nose. Go a few more rounds. And then release. And feel your body. Notice your breath. Filling in the deeper pockets of the lungs. Exhaling out maybe through the mouth. And then we'll do 1 more round of the breath of fire. So when you feel ready, empty out all of your breath. Take a breath in. Keep the pumping happening. And as you're pumping and stoking your inner fire, even if you're doing it just symbolically, if you're not actually pumping the belly, but just taking deeper breaths, visualize that internal flame being stoked, that fire within growing, and that fueling whatever you were calling in for yourself today. So just feel that sort of stoking that inner fire, inviting that energy in even deeper, and enlivening that energy even more. Do a couple more rounds of the pumping breath if you can, if you haven't already stopped. And then let that last one go. And then let your breath return to a soft rhythm. You might take a few inhales deep through the nose and exhale. Breathe it out through the mouth. And then let your mind move from the head to the toes, from the toes back to your head, feeling into what's present here and now. Noticing if those points of ease and softness that you noticed at the start of the practice, how they expanded through the body. Is there anything else that's getting your attention now that you didn't notice before? You come back into this practice of being that can sometimes make the mind feel uncomfortable, because the mind is so used to having a task, something to figure out, something to do. So it can take practice to offer the mind this task of presence, of being, of simply noticing without judgment. So as we tune in to feel into what's present in the body, the mind might want to immediately categorize or judge as this is a good feeling or a bad feeling. This is right or wrong. And sometimes it goes beyond the logic of the mind. Sometimes it's just simply allowing all that is to be as it is, without trying to change it, without trying to force anything to come or go. We simply practice being with what is, even if at times it can feel uncomfortable, even if at times we're not used to it, or it takes a little extra practice. When we can allow our minds to find this place of calm presence, where we can allow the space of just being to happen, we trust in the innate wisdom of our body. We trust in the power of our mind to connect to the body. And we simply notice what happens in that space. It may guide us to an energy that we need to call in. It may guide us to something that we're ready to let go. And it may just be simply holding space for ourselves, for all that is. So give yourself a few moments to breathe, to feel into your body, and to practice noticing what's there without the judgment of the mind. And so you can feel into this on an energetic level, feeling into your emotional energy, feeling into your physical energy. You can also spend a little time deeper into the physical vessel, noticing as much as you can notice about your skin, your fascia, that connective tissue that runs through the whole body. Start to feel into your muscles, even into the skeletal system. And even though I'm not always aware of exactly what my insides look like, I imagine my body and all of the systems in my body working in perfect harmony. I imagine all of the energy highways in my body open and free flowing, perfect communication between all parts of the body. I imagine any parts that need to be repaired, healing themselves. And it's this beautiful time to connect to yourself and use this focused attention of your mind to care for yourself, to care for your body by opening up this space of deeper awareness of what is here, what is present for you in this moment. And offering yourself this tenderness, this grace, this gentleness as you hold yourself in whatever is present. Allowing whatever needs to be, not pushing anything away. Just giving that space to yourself for a few more moments, a few more breaths. I'm going to invite you to, once again, in whatever way feels most resonant with you, whether you give yourself another hugging embrace, or just place hands over the heart, or even palms together in prayer position at the forehead or the heart center. It's taking another moment here to bow in honor of yourself, to bow in honor of all that you are, all that you do, all that you bring, and appreciation for yourself and this time you've carved out to be with yourself, to offer this loving awareness and presence of yourself. So take a moment here of deep love and appreciation and gratitude for you. And I thank you for letting me share this space and time with you. Let me know if you have any questions about the breath work we did today, or any questions about any of the practices that we flowed through. Otherwise, just give yourself a little bit of time to start to reawaken the body. If you're lying down, it might feel good to take a stretch of your arms, lengthening out arms and legs, and maybe hug the knees into your chest. If you're in a chair seated, you can even take a few little simple twists to reawaken the spine, roll out the shoulders a bit, turning your head from side to side. And just a reminder to you that all of these practices, although it's beautiful when we have a full hour or even half an hour or 20 minutes. But sometimes we don't always have that in every day or even from week to week. The beautiful thing about these little practices is they can be broken down into little 5-minute sessions with yourself, or even a few minutes if you're waiting for something in line. You can take time to just do a few little twists, or take a few minutes out of your day and just move with the flow of your breath to shift that focus of the mind and to give back to yourself in little ways throughout the day and throughout the week.